Okay, so today's video is going to be all about the battle of Asana versus Trello. And I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video the differences between the two, what I like and don't like about both of them. And I'm going to actually be screen sharing with you so you can actually see the differences between the two. And so then you'll be able to decide which one will work best for you. And I personally use both of the systems, and I really do like both of the systems. However, I will say that Trello is a little bit more simplified, and it seems like a little bit more of an easier system to use if you're a first time using a task management type of system. So that's why I focus a lot on Trello. But I wanted to show the comparison between the two just so that you can see and so that you can weigh the two against each other and see which one's best for you. So if you are new to this channel, I just want to say welcome and thank you for tuning into this video. I want to let you know that every Tuesday I will be sharing a brand new video about Trello, something regarding Trello. And so Tuesdays, it's going to be Trello Tuesdays. And so every Tuesday I'm going to be sharing a new video on Trello. And then throughout the week and occasionally throughout the week, I'll be also sharing some additional videos on Trello and or videos on virtual systems geared to helping you to create a more efficient, organized, and streamlined lifestyle. So if that's something that appeals to you, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so that you can be notified and in the loop when I release those new videos on a weekly basis. Before we dive into the screen sharing and you being able to see the actual differences between Asana and Trello, I just wanted to first talk about the terminology differences between Asana and Trello. So with Asana, you create a workstation, and then within your workstation, you create projects. Within your projects, you have lists or sections, and then within those sections or lists, you have tasks. Now, Trello, you create teams in Trello. You don't have to create teams in Trello. You do have to create a workstation within Asana though. And then within the teams, you have boards. So you would create boards in Trello versus the projects in Asana. And then again, you would have the lists, and in Trello, they're referred to as cards. And so I'm going to actually show you the home screens for both of them. So the home screen, the dashboard, your notification area is very similar between the two systems. So let's dive in and I'm going to show you those real quick. Okay, so here is your home screen when it comes to Asana. So you have all of the different options, or your menu basically is over here for Asana, and you can hide the menu and show the menu. But the Asana has several different spots similar to Trello where you can see your notifications and your your projects is what Asana calls them, and your tasks. So these are the current tasks that are due right now, and then you can show more. And these are your recent projects. And if you're looking at Trello, so if we go to Trello, kind of similar concept here. You have your, all of your boards here. You have your teams listed over here. And then if we clicked on the home section, so this is, where all of our, tasks would be, and then our recently viewed boards, and we can create a board from here. So this overall look is very similar to this overall look in Asana. Now, Asana has a couple other notification areas. So the inbox is going to be similar to that of your, this home section. And then in addition, your bell as well. Now the bell in Trello only relates to kind of past due notifications. And then this section here in Trello is anything that you have coming up. Whereas this kind of bell section in Asana is everything that you have coming up for that day, or you've been notified on something. It will come through this inbox here. Now, I will say one of the pluses for Asana is if I go to my task, so I don't actually look at this view. I don't really personally care for this view because you have to kind of sort it into the categories. It just all goes into recently assigned if you've been assigned any task. So what I look at is the calendar view here. Now, what's really nice about this calendar view in Asana is it takes all of your projects and puts it all into one calendar. So you can see here that this color is from this color project, and this color is from this color project. So this is a task related to this project. This is a task related to this project. And then these are actually checklist items that are within this project here. So it's really nice to be able to see all of your, boards, or I'm sorry, all of your projects in one location, as opposed to Trello doesn't have that option. You can just see your project, your board. So if we went into boards and we went into one of our boards, you would just see the calendar option for that particular board. Now, where there is a difference is within the Google Calendar. So they both sync to Google Calendar. And if I go back to Asana, in order to sync, let me go into or into a project. I keep getting the two mixed up, but go into a project and you would pull this little down arrow, you click on the arrow, and you would go to export and you would go to sync calendar. And again, you would do this very similar to how I described it in Trello. You would copy this link. And if I go to my Google Calendar, you would then go to add calendars and then add in that link. Now, the downside for Asana when it comes to linking with your Google Calendar is even though I assigned time spots for these tasks, they all went up to the top where they are, an all-day event, where it looks like it's an all-day event. Whereas you can see here that these are the Trello tasks. So these are the two different. So this is Trello, purple is Trello, and then the pink is Asana. And so you can see here that the Trello tasks actually come in at the exact time that you set on your board. Okay, so then when it comes to viewing options within both of the systems, you have a little bit more when it comes to Asana. So with Trello, you have the board view and you have the calendar view as long as you did the calendar power up within Trello. When it comes to Asana, you have the board view, you have the calendar view, and you also have a list view. So I'm going to actually show you what that looks like now on both of the systems. Okay, so we are in an Asana board right now, and you can see at the top that you can have the option of list, board, timeline. You have several different options here. Now I'm just going to strictly talk about the list, the board, and the calendar because this is where the similarities happen. So the board, if we look at the board view, this is going to be very similar to that of Trello. So if I scroll over to Trello, you're going to see this looks very similar to that of Asana. But when I click on the list format, you can see it in this format where it actually kind of lists it out in a vertical format as opposed to a horizontal format. So like with the board, you can see things, going horizontally. With the list, you see it all vertical. And you can see here that you can hide. So if I want to hide all the tasks that are in the doing and the done, I can just look at today's task and just see it very clearly here and check it off from here. You can also see, if I click on this little arrow here, you can see this bathroom checklist that's in the clean bathroom. So you can see the individual checklists as well within there. So that is a little bit of a difference when it comes to Asana versus Trello. The calendars are going to be very similar. I will say that I do like the look of Asana's calendar because it has the colors, whereas Trello's calendar does have colors, but they're not it's not it doesn't show as nice and visually appealing as Asana. So another difference between Trello and Asana is the option to select backgrounds for your boards. Now with Trello, you can select from a wide assortment of all different kinds of backgrounds for your board, which I personally love. I love having a different background, a fun background for each of my boards. It just makes me want to dive into the boards a little bit more. Now with Asana, you only have the option of, I think it's 7 or 8 backgrounds. And once you select a background for a board or a project, once you select a background for a project, it uses that same background on all of your projects. So you will have the same background for every one of your projects. You can't individualize the projects and have different backgrounds. So I'm going to dive in here and show you what the difference is and what the two look like on my computer. The background for your board, you do not get a background for your list. The list is just a very simple, easy format. When it comes to the board, what you would do with your board in order to change the background. Now, note that if you change the background on one board, it changes it for all boards. You cannot have individualized backgrounds for each board within Asana. So in order to do this, you would come up to your name. Now, one other difference. So these are the different workstations that I have. So these are the different, similar to Trello, where Trello would say teams. These are the different workstations that I have in Asana. Now, the one thing, when you click on a new workstation, it opens up a new tab as opposed to just using the same tab. Where if we go to Trello, let me just go back to the beginning. You can see all your teams here. So you could click on your individual teams here, and it's all within one, tab, all within one system in Trello. So that's a little bit of a difference there too, when it comes to your teams and burst workstations in Asana. So let me go back to Asana. And if you click on where it says my profile settings, you go to display, and these are your only options for your background images. So you don't have near the amount of selection as you do within Trello. So if these are okay with you, then that's perfectly fine. Whatever your preference is. I just personally like the look of being able to choose. If you go back to Trello, go to menu, go to background, go to photos, or you can actually sort through any kind, like as many kind of pictures as you want. You can type in, what you would like. I just personally like to see a board that interests me when I open it up. That's just my own personal preference. Another difference between Asana and Trello is with Asana, you can actually have tasks repeated on a regular basis. So you have the option to be able to repeat a task daily, every weekday, every Monday. Whereas with Trello, you would actually have to go in and update the due date for when you want that to, be the next time that it repeats, basically. So you would just update the due date, and that's how, you would have that notification repeated. So there's a little bit of a difference there, and I'm going to show you on a screen share what that looks like. Okay, so let's say we want this prepare dinner task to repeat every day because we're going to prepare dinner every day. And I just realized that this is set at 10 a.m. Let's change that to 6 p.m. to be actual dinner time. Okay, so we'll come into here. In order to have a task repeat, you would just click on the due date, and then you would click on set to repeat. And then you would just click on this first option here, and you have several different options that you can do. So we're actually just going to have this repeat daily. But you could come in here and you could change it to weekly, and you could have it every weekday. So we could do it that way. Let's just do it that way for right now and hit done. So then you'll see this little notification, little icon up here that's showing that is a repeating task. So that is just something that is a little bit different than Trello. And if you go into Trello and we want this bathroom task to repeat every day, we would just come in here and have it repeat and, pick the next day so that it repeats on that next day. So when you have a task that has multiple different steps within it, you, for Trello, would call those additional steps checklist. In Asana, you would call those subtasks. Now, Asana has a little bit more functionality when it comes to their subtasks. However, I like the look of the checklist within Trello a little bit better, along with a Google Chrome extension that you can do within Trello that makes the checklist functionality within Trello a little bit better, I feel like, versus Asana's subtasks. Now, with Asana, you can do a lot more within the subtasks, such as assigning a person and assigning due dates. I just like the function, the look, and the options that you can do within Trello a little bit better. So I'm going to dive in and show you those as well. Okay, so we are in Asana, and I'm going to show you what the subtask looks like within Asana. So here's the subtask section that Asana has, and I actually created a section name because personally I like seeing a name for my individual subtask so that I can categorize the different subtasks if there's multiple subtasks. So how I created the subtask this bathroom checklist section name is first you click on this and then you click tab N and then you can name it, whatever that section name is. And that's how you do that. The nice thing about Asana's version is you can assign individual people to your subtasks. You can also assign due dates. And if you click on this little icon here, you can actually add in a ton more stuff and create additional subtasks. So that is Asana's version where you can do a lot more within the checklist. However, when you go through and check certain ones off, they do remain showing and you don't have an option to hide them. And if you have a lot of subtasks, then you have to keep scrolling down to see them all. So that is a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to Asana's subtasks. So if we go back to Trello and we look at Trello's checklist, the nice thing that with Trello is you can actually get this Chrome extension for next steps. So you can actually see your checklist item from the board view. So if we go back to Asana and I exit out of this, you cannot see any of the checklist items listed on here. You can just see from this little icon that there are 3 subtasks listed there. So that is one feature that I do like, that I can just strictly not even go into the card and be able to check off items on my checklist. But if I went into the card, I like that you have a specific checklist header and that you're also able to copy that same checklist. So if I have another card, let me go to another card, and I want that same checklist on this card, I can click on this checklist and click on copy items from the clean bathroom checklist and add that. So all of those items will then be added into this next checklist. Whereas with Asana, you have to actually retype in everything or copy that task, duplicate that task. So that is just a little bit of a difference between the two when it comes to checklist. I just personally prefer seeing Trello's checklist, and also you can hide items within Trello's checklist as well, which I really like, being able to see that they're hidden. Now you can see in paid version, in Trello Business, you can actually utilize the assign and the due date, assign to and due date. So it would be similar to Trello to Asana, but you do not have the complexity that you can go into when it comes to, all the details that you can put together for subtasks in Asana. So there's a bit of a difference there. Okay, so now let's talk about the similarities between the two. Both of them, you can star or favorite a board. So it's very similar for both of them. Trello calls it star boards. Asana calls it favorited boards. So very similar. You can easily find your most recent boards easily using both of those options within each of the boards. And then you can search. You have search capabilities within each of the systems as well. And then you also have the capability to label or tag. So Trello calls it label, Asana calls it tag. So you can kind of color code in both of the task management systems as well. So I'm going to dive in. I'm going to show you in detail those kind of functionalities within both of them. Okay, so I've already mentioned in another video how to go about starring a board in Trello. So if you want to check out my Trello tutorial series, you can see how to do that in Trello. But in Asana, in order to favorite a board, you would just click on the star here, and you can see on the left-hand side that it does go into your favorite section here. And if we go to the home, you will see your favorite board listed there along with favorite project listed there along with recent projects listed as well. And then when it comes to searching within Asana, you can just click on this little icon up here in the search area up here, and you can search by, let's say, label. So there is household chores, so you can sort by your label. You can start typing in one of the cards and search by card. And then if you try and search by, let's try and search by my name. So if I search by my name, it's going to actually take me to my task and show me all the tasks that are assigned to me. So it's not going to search by my name per board. So if I wanted to just see the tasks that were assigned to me for this board, I can't do that. But you can still see all the tasks that are assigned to you from the My Task section as well. And then if you wanted to find out how to search within Trello, don't forget to check out the Trello tutorial series that I've linked in the comments below, where I go into some of that detail in those series. Okay, now when it comes to tags is what Asana calls it, as opposed to labels, what Trello calls it. You can see here that I have assigned certain tags to my cards. Now, with Trello, you can actually click on the color and it will drop down and show you what the label name is. So let me go back to Trello, exit out of this, and let's look at this one here. Let's click on this, and you can actually see the label names. They'll show up there. Whereas Asana, you can only just hover over it to see the name. So that's just a little bit of a difference there. The other thing that I want to point out when it comes to labels, what I really like in Trello, if I go back to Trello and if I click on the little edit option here, you can actually edit your labels from your board view. So you can edit and add labels to certain cards. You can edit your name of your card, change member, move, copy, change due date, and archive. So these are very similar when it comes to Asana, but the big difference is the editing the labels and the updating the name of the card from the board view. You cannot do that in Asana. So if I go back to Asana and I click on these little dots here, you can see that I can mark the task as complete. I can duplicate it or I can delete it. I can't edit the label from here. But I can edit the due date. If I click on a date, I can edit the due date and time. And then I can also edit who I assign it to. So I can edit the assignee from here as well. But I actually have to click on the task to edit the name and edit the tags. So that's just a little bit of a difference. I do prefer the options that Trello has when it comes to editing from the board view. So to sum up, both of them are really great task management systems, and I love using both of them for the different purposes that I use them for. But personally, for me, I just think that Trello is a little bit easier to navigate and a little bit more of a simplified version. And that is why I just like talking and teaching about Trello. But it doesn't mean that Asana is a bad system either. So I would love to hear from you if you use Asana or Trello. If you can share in the comments below which system you use and what you like most about that system. I would love to hear your comments as well to see, why you like using a certain system versus the other one. And then also just a friendly reminder that I do share Trello Tuesday videos every Tuesday. So every Tuesday is going to be dedicated to Trello. So there'll be a new video every Tuesday. And then I'll also sprinkle some other virtual system videos throughout as well. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time.